We have a very special new segment, our gear review segment.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was carrying 3 bags to work, which was like a flight bag, my rollerboard, and a cooler for food.
Are you a pilot carrying 3 bags?
It is such a pain to more to like ride in the back of an airplane if you're deadheading or something, to have the 3 bags. You're trying to walk down the aisle. It's a nightmare. So I was like, I need to consolidate. Like, I don't need to bring all of the stuff that's in my flight bag. So I was out there looking, and I got some demo coolers from our friends at Aerocoast. Sent me their EFB Pro 2 cooler.
So that's that one.
It's a EFB combo, because obviously I'm trying to eliminate the flight bag and have a cooler that will hold my other stuff, my flashlight, my passport, and headset, and all this other junk, right?
Right.
And then our friends at Strongbags also sent us a demo of their cooler EFB bag. And I have taken them both to work. I've tried them in the real world. They're both very good bags. There are some differences between them. And I think depending on what your goal is, one may suit you better than the other. Let's start with the Aerocoast. So these bags all essentially have a cooler portion, is the largest portion of the bag. Then there's a top portion that stores your other stuff, your dry food and whatever. This is a coffee maker. That's another episode.
Okay.
We'll talk about, but how to make proper coffee on the road. And they all have a front pocket to hold your other stuff, and then a back pocket that normally is where you put like your EFB.
Okay. And turn it a little bit so they can see what's on the side there.
Yeah. And then on the side, this one, the Aerocoast has some side zip open pockets that have like spots for, pencils and your passport and stuff. Whereas the Strongbags one is more of the zip out cup holder kind of deal, where you put a coffee cup and you can put whatever else in there. What I was using before is like the eBags crew cooler that I think has been around forever.
Yep.
And there's different iterations of it, but they're all basically the same thing, right?
Yep.
If it gets wet in there, it leaks through. It's not like watertight. It's good. It's just not a great product.
Right.
These are much better as far as the cooler is concerned. They're both way better insulated, for one. Like, you can tell they hold ice for a long time. If you don't unzip it and rezip it a lot, like it will hold stuff for days. Same with the Strongbags. So they're both much more durable, watertight. It doesn't get everything wet if you have an incident. So that's number one. So with the Aerocoast cooler here, the top portion with the dry storage is probably a little bit smaller than the Strongbags one, but you can still, I fit all of my food, like even on a 4-day trip, I can hold in both of these coolers. The biggest problem when you're going from the 3-bag situation to the 2-bag is, what do you do with your headset? Because I used to put my headset in like my flight bag, and that probably took up a good almost half of it, right?
Right.
So now it's, what do you do with your headset? There's just not room unless you don't carry a lot of extra like dry food in the top part. You could fit your headset in there. Otherwise, there's nowhere to put your headset. So with both of these bags, the biggest downside going to 2-bag deal is
I'm going to move the camera here so we can try
your
to see this.
Your headset has to be held somewhere else externally. And so what I did is I got one of these S clips, and my headset has a pretty good rigid bag. And so I just clip it, like on this bag, I just clip it onto here, and it just hangs like this while I'm pulling it through the airport or whatever. So it just hangs off the front. It's not that big of a deal. And then when I get in the airplane, I usually just take this off and set it down next to it, take my headset out, and then when I'm packing up, I just clip it back onto my bag. So the headset does have to be held externally, is my point.
And that's on both bags, right?
Yeah, both bags. I think you could fit it in the top, but it takes up all of your storage space and then options.
Yeah, okay.
For me, it doesn't work, but I also bring a whole like coffee mug and brewing setup, which takes up a lot of room. So it may work for somebody else, depending on what headset you have. Whether it's a Bose or Clarity Loft also makes a big difference. So they both have great storage, though, for food, and dry storage on top for dry food. And then you have the last component, which is, where do you put all of your stuff? My stuff consists of my passport. I always keep a bunch of ones to tip people. I have pens, eating utensils, and a flashlight, right? So all these have a front pocket that you can fit most of that stuff in. So the Aerocoast has 2 pockets.
That was the Aerocoast bag, right? So then let's switch bags for a second. and talk me through any specifics you saw on that one. And while you were talking, I actually was able to get your headset bag to fit in the top of that one.
So you could fit it, but again, if you're looking at the video component of this, then you can get it to fit, but you just have a little bit of storage here for other stuff. So again, which didn't work for me, but
would depend,
might work for other people.
Well, especially if you're not, maybe not doing 4-day trips.
That's true. So the Strongbags cooler, also very solid piece of equipment. Like I said, the cooler, super durable. The liner, it's watertight. It lives up to the name of being a strong bag, very robust zippers and stuff like that. Same front pocket, the side ones zip out. You have to carry your so the EFB, I was storing because I had this top part full of other stuff. So I would slide my EFB in here, and this is a zipper pass through if you want to put it over the handle of your rollerboard. So I just let the zipper close and I would just slide it in there.
Okay.
And it stays pretty good in there. I was able, it was no big deal.
Well, that answered a question for me too, because it's been so long since I've been in the airline game. When I had a cooler like this, I always had to use the pass-through because I had the flight case.
Right.
And that was what was on the J-hook. But that's not really the case anymore, right?
No, when you have all of that stuff in here, these actually get fairly heavy, especially at the beginning of a trip. So it's much easier to have it on the hook because it's obviously balances everything on those wheels,
right?
Versus you having to support it. So this bag now goes on the J hook for sure, the combo bag.
So you don't really have anything on the handle, which is nice because the weight.
Yeah, and it's annoying to take it on and off. Again, that's what you're doing with that cooler, and it's a whole nother step, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're doing it every day, multiple times, it's really obnoxious.
So you were saying the Strongbag one from a cooler capacity.
So I think at the end of the day, these two coolers are very similar. I would be happy with really either of them on the road. I think that if you're trying to maximize the amount of food you can carry, then I think the Strongbags one is probably better suited to you. The top compartment is a little bit bigger, and the cooler area is probably a little bit bigger. But then you just have the one front pocket and the two side kind of drink holder / whatever you want to hold in their pockets. The Aerocoast has a little one for your sunglasses, and then these side pockets that zip open have little slots and for stuff. So if you have more stuff, not for your food, but you like to have more trinkets and pens and pencils, and some guys have highlighters for the release and different colors. And if you're one of those people, then I think the Aerocoast one might suit you a little bit better because there's just more pockets to organize your stuff.
So you sacrifice a little bit of cooler space to get a little bit more utility.
Yeah.
I think the Strongbags one, too, I was looking at, I think there are some people that are doing what you're doing and just going to 2 bags. I think there's also a lot of people that have little backpacks and do have that computer bag and stuff that they're going to carry with them, right?
Well, and there's other people, if you're an FFDO,
right.
You have to have a bag to keep that stuff. And so there's different requirements for everybody, depending on what their situation is and how long of trips they fly and how much, But I was really impressed by both of these bags. Honestly, the build quality, I think they're really good. The other thing, too, that Strongbag sent was one of these water bags. You fill it up with water and you freeze it at home to a big chunk of ice.
Yep. And
that seems to hold in there for a really long time. And then if you get to the hotel and you put that in the refrigerator along with the rest of your food, it really doesn't melt very quickly at that point either. Because some rooms just don't have fridges and freezers.
Right.
So you just leave it in there and you get ice and deal with it like that. I also bring a couple of small, very thin ice packs because those are actually really easy to put in the freezer at the hotel. And usually, if I use those, even on a 4-day, the ice in here will last almost to the end.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I haven't had experience with Aerocoast, but I have had a Strongbag suitcase before. And the thing that was cool was when something broke, they've kind of designed it as sort of, we'll ship you the parts and you can fix it if you want to, which I think is nice because as you know, as a professional pilot, taking a bag out of service, that's a problem.
Unless you have an extra bag.
Yeah. So I did like that. The Aerocoast one does look like its build quality is going to hang for a while. I mean, the nature of the game, though, with what we're doing, it's only a matter of time till any bag breaks,
nothing's going to last forever. But I think people have to have that mindset. The one more thing I will mention about the Aerocoast is that it does come with this optional, which they sent as well, water bottle holder on the side that holds a sizable water bottle. And I have to carry this big water bottle for how I do my food. This is harder to carry around sometimes. I had to put it in the top part of the Strongbags, but it's a little bit bigger, so it worked. Well, a lot of guys or gals carry either a water bottle or they have a big coffee cup or all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it depends on each person, but much happier though with just 2 bags at work.
So if you could wave your magic wand with any of these options, like, is there anything that's missing, like for version 2 of this bag, or for somebody like you that's just wants to do the combo 2 bag? Is there anything else that we could ask for?
Yeah, the only thing really that comes to mind that's more of a pain than it was with 3 bags is dealing with this headset situation.
Okay.
And nowhere has a great spot to clip the headset. If you clip like this bag, both bags have these on the side for a shoulder strap, but you can clip it on the side, but it hangs down and you see every time you're dragging around on the ground when you're towing it. So this doesn't really work. And the only way I figured out how to do it is you got to clip it on both straps. Yeah. Otherwise it falls to one or the other and just kind of let it lay on the front of the bag, which works, but it's just, that's the best I've come up with. Okay. What would be really nice is if they had a clip somewhere on here where you could clip your headset or deal with this headset.
On the side of the bag, I guess, is probably, well, it's tough because everyone's got a different type of headset, so you couldn't really, it would be trickier.
It would. So send that one to the engineers.
Okay. So
somewhere for the headset to go is
we'll have links to both of these bags in the show notes, so you can check them out. And I don't think you can really go wrong. It's more of a personal preference, I guess, on what you want.
Yeah. So for me, when I was looking for the solution, it's hard without actually using it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the intent of this is you know what you need. And I think if you're looking for pure carrying capacity of food stuff, then the Strongbags one. If you want to carry a bunch of other stuff and have it all organized and this and that, then the Aerocoast one. But both are awesome. And if you have 3 bags, I would seriously consider making the switch because life is much easier with 2 bags.
It's easier with 2. I'm still blown away with the chart case stuff. It's so funny to think about how long that's been gone, but that's the last thing I knew.
And people still carry those.
I know, we've talked about that before. Oh, I guess that would be one strike that I'm going to have to give both of these lunch bags at this point, is you can't put stickers on them. Right? Like we used to on the flight kit.
That's right.
But you could do a patch or something.
I suppose you could.
Yeah. All right. Oh, it was good. Thank you to Strongbags and Aerocoast for sending these demo units out. And
lastly, if you guys have any other gear that you want reviewed, I mean, we're obviously thinking headsets, rollerboard bags, the normal stuff, but anything else, let us know. And we'll do our best to get demos and do the review.